Hi, this is John with Ability Air here. So I've seen tool bag videos before, what people keep in their tool bag, and I think I have a pretty good tool bag setup. A couple unique ideas that I think people could really take advantage of. So I just wanted to go over those a little bit. So I am a Veto Pro Pac fanboy. I love their bags. Like, I'm a bag geek. I will buy like any new bag. I've had all of them that I can think of except for the backpacks. I don't really see a use for the backpacks from my industry. I'm in residential air conditioning. I do not do commercial air conditioning as a habit. Every once in a while I'll touch like a 10-ton or a 12-ton unit, but I don't do chillers. I don't do refrigeration equipment. I am primarily a residential air conditioning company and technician. So if you want to know anything about residential air conditioners, like, I'm your guy. So we're going to go over the residential setup for the Veto Pro Pac, and this is the TP3. I've had this bag for I think a little over 2 years, and I really like it. Yeah, it's really small. I'm not trying to do all of my repairs out of this bag. It's primarily like diagnostic, small repairs. It has some other little things that help me if I like forgot something in my truck or whatever, but primarily this is diagnostic and small repairs. So first thing we're going to start with is the biggest thing is the meter. So I do Fieldpiece meters. The reason I do Fieldpiece meters, they don't cost a whole lot. I haven't really seen any problems with them as far as accuracy, but I've had this meter for about 3 years now. I do have the Fluke leads here. I bounce back and forth between the Fluke leads and my Fieldpiece leads because my Fieldpiece leads are a little bit shorter. But I do really like these Fluke leads because they give me some options that I'm actually going to show you here. So I really like the meter. I really like these leads. They're silicone. Fluke makes some really high-end stuff. So any kind of accessories, I usually buy the Fluke accessories, but as far as the meter, I just stick with the Fieldpiece. The second thing to go along with the meter is I like to keep this little alligator clip, and that's why I like the Fluke leads, because they have really nice little accessories, like I said. One probe. I don't need two probes because I take this little, if you look right here, this thing actually pierces the wire, so I don't have to disconnect the wire, and I could just go into like a common, and then I can do the rest of my testing with this on my other lead. So this is a neat little thing, especially when it comes to DC systems. Sometimes you don't want to unplug the connectors and you just want to get a reading on the wire. You can use this, or Fluke also sells in this kit like real fine probes that you can go into the back of the connector. But this little thing is awesome. I love this little tool. The next thing that I keep is service tool. I like the angled one. I also carry a straight one in my other bag, but this one gets me everywhere I really need to be. So I keep this in my little diagnostic bag here, just in case I need to open a valve or whatever and on a carrier unit. So the other thing I wanted to go over is I have this little tool here. This is for locking caps. We have a lot of locking caps here now. This is a tool made by JB. Now this is a really neat tool because it has all your little bits for your different locking caps. Thing that I don't like is that this shaft actually spins in here. Like, they didn't secure it inside here. I think it's just pressed in. So I think they could have done a better job of that, especially since I think I paid over $30 for this tool. So I think that's a lot of money for a tool that after about 4 uses the shaft started spinning. Anyway, it gets the job done in a pinch, so I keep it in my bag. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next thing, one of my favorite things. I am a light geek, and I really like Nitecore products. These things are seriously bright, and they're rechargeable. I have 3 different versions of this light, but one thing I really like is they all take the same battery, and it's a rechargeable battery, so I can just plug this into my USB, and then I can charge all of my different batteries with the same flashlight. So that's really cool. It has different functions, different brightnesses. And I'm telling you, you could give yourself a tan with that light. It's so bright. It's actually heating up my hand. The next thing is, I really like Testo. Testo is a great product. I've been using these probes for, I'm going to say 2.5, maybe 3 years. They haven't broken yet, and I love this because I can just keep it in my bag. I don't have to carry like a bunch of gauges, and I can just link up to my phone and I can get an accurate pressure really quickly. I'm not going to charge a system with this one probe, but I can get an idea if the system's flat. This is a really awesome tool for the bag. The other thing I carry is just a little inspection mirror. When you need them, so I just keep it because it doesn't take a whole lot of space. This is one of my favorite tools. I have lost this a couple times, and every time I recover it, I'm so happy. It's a Knipex. The first time when I bought this tool, the guy told me it was $55, and I just couldn't not believe it. It has this little stripper right here, and then its needle nose, obviously, and it has crimpers back here. So this thing is invaluable. It is just like a lot in a very small package, and it's Knipex, really high quality. These things will not quit, and I think they have a lifetime warranty. I don't know, never had to use it. Most of my tools are Klein. I really like these channel locks. They're not quite channel locks, they would be considered channel locks, but they just have this little locking thing right here. I'm not trying to really wrench down on anything with these, so they're perfect. They're really compact, and man, the jaws open up really wide, so I can get to the service valves, the tops on the service valves. So another small tool, but really valuable. I actually do not carry a crescent wrench in here, and I know that there's going to be a lot of guys who chastise me for that, but again, I do residential air conditioning. I'm not seeing a lot of service valves. I do have my service tool, so I can get to the square stems, but we do a lot of locking caps, so I don't have a lot of nut type of Schrader caps. It's mainly either plastic caps or it's locking caps, and if I see a regular cap, I'm going to put a locking cap on. So I'm not really worried about marring surfaces with this particular tool. I do have a crescent wrench, I just don't keep it in this bag. I also always have a brush with me so I can clean out electrical areas. I just like having a brush. I use it for a lot of different things. I always tape my brushes. I have a thermometer. I really like Klein tool came out with this not too long ago, and it's been a very good thermometer. There was one that I really liked. I think it was like a Delta Track. That was the best thermometer ever made. It had a magnet. It was very similar to this, but it had a magnet. That's the only thing that made that one better. Anyway, I really like this thermometer. I have the Fieldpiece psychrometer. I'm not going to say it's the most accurate thing in the world, but it definitely gets me to where I need to be. I can get my required superheat with this. I can see if, the humidity inside of the place. It's just really invaluable to have a psychrometer instead of just a thermometer. So I use both of these. A lot of time I'll use them together. This one for my return air, and then that one for my supply air. So very good little item to have. They're a little pricey, but if you treat them good, they will last a while. Just, you gotta be careful. You can't be rough with this thing right here. These things will break pretty easy, so you gotta treat them really gentle, take care of them. I have fallen in love with this screwdriver right here. You'll notice I have a lot of Klein tools. I really like Klein. It has a lifetime warranty. They're relatively inexpensive, but for what you get, you can't beat them. They don't break. This is an awesome screwdriver. This is the 8-in-1. Now I always use the 11-in-1, then I went to the 10-in-1, and now I'm at the 8-in-1, which is really weird to go backwards on the amount of tools that you have. But this thing is awesome because it actually has a 5/16 and 1/4 inch nut driver. It's a true nut driver. I have this one right here, and this is an awesome little, another Klein tool. It's a 4-in-1, but it has your kind of bigger Phillips head. It's got a smaller little, almost like an eyeglasses flathead. And then it's got your thermostat, screwdriver size, and then it's got a smaller little Phillips. And then I have my long Malco bit. Now these things came out a couple years ago in the short version, and then they made the long version. This is one of my most used tools along with my drill, because you can just, right now it's set up for 1/4 inch, and now it's for 5/16. And inside, I've actually mounted a magnet in here. I wish Veto had done that. I saw this little leather pouch. I was like, oh man, I wonder if there's a magnet in there. And they didn't put one in. So I had wanted to, for a long time, put a magnet in here. And I actually put a rare earth magnet in there. Look at that, that'll hold a screwdriver. But now I can put my screws for my units right there. That way I'm not putting them on top of the unit and they're falling in or whatever, which you should never do. Never put screws on top of an air conditioner. But some guys do, and they just get a little lazy. Anyway, don't do it. Then I have, again, my Malco tool, but this is the medium. And because I love it so much, I have the stubby as well. So I have a whole little family of Malco drivers. I should probably only have 2, but I just love those things so much. I have to have all 3 in there. Anyway, I also have a little dog bone for torches. I have a 7/16 because a lot of the fan motors these days, the indoor fan motors, use 7/16 for the belly band. I always carry some emery cloth. You gotta have some emery cloth for whatever reason, but this is good. I mean, I use it to sand down shafts off of fan motors, all kinds of stuff with a little bit of emery cloth, and it takes almost no space, so why not? I got a little parts container here. I carry a little popper. Now I keep this because I don't want to, let's say I have a blown fuse inside of an air handler. I'm in the attic. Do I want to put in one of my fuses out of here, or do I want to just hook this little bad boy up and then let it pop until I figure out what's going on? So I keep this so I'm not wasting fuses, and not because I don't want to waste the fuse, but because I don't necessarily want to get out of the attic to get more fuses. So I keep this little popper, and then I also keep the little jumper lead to jumper that to a board, because maybe you have a fuse that's plugged into wires, or maybe you have the fuses that plugged in right to the board, so you should have little jumpers for that. And then I have my little adapter for mini split units. This is, well, I'm going to need it if I want to see if there's any pressure in the system. And then I always carry 2 AA batteries so that I can put it in a thermostat if the thermostat batteries are dead. Like I have a whole bunch of little blue wire nuts, I have an orange wire nut, a couple random fuses, some spade connectors, just a little random, like 1 Schrader core, you know, just miscellaneous stuff. I also carry this around with me almost everywhere I go. I love this knife. It's a Leatherman Wave. I've been carrying this Kershaw blade. These are really cool knives in a very small package. So I really love my Kershaw blade, and this one's serrated. And then the last thing I have here is some jumper wires. I have 2 regular, and then I have these little magnetic doohickeys. I love these things. They are so useful, and on some thermostats these are much better than the alligator clips, so I always carry these around. Anyway, that's my bag.